Oh, so now it shows up.
What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to show you guys and talk about what I use to make these videos, from the cameras I use to record to the editing software that I use to put it all together. I know I had questions and really had no idea where to go at first. Do this to maybe help someone out that may be curious and seen how my videos come out and curious how that works. I don't use nothing really fancy, so pretty attainable by just about anybody. And then at the end, I did upgrade, so we'll unbox and see what we got. So I started with the first video on a phone, and it was back when I had an LG G8. Quality's pretty crappy. Pretty sure I uploaded from my phone to YouTube, so that probably hurt it some. Really didn't care. I was just putting a video out there, so I wasn't too worried about quality. That kind of sparked me to continue using phones. I ended up with the Pixel 3 XL, and that's been a great phone. Probably one of the best cameras out there on the market at its time. I believe we're on Pixel 5 now. It'll shoot up to 4K, and I run it in 1080 at 60 frames, I believe. It'll actually run up to 120 frames at 1080 and 30 frames at 4K. For being just a phone, it's actually pretty good. I started using that, and as you can tell in the first, way back when I first started building the car, I didn't know how important it was to flip the camera sideways, so you'll get a lot of the narrow views. But with everything you learn, you grow. Hopefully me talking about this stuff helps you guys. As I continued, with a phone, you have certain limitations. One of them being if you're doing car things, if you want to get rolling shots or exhaust videos, stuff like that, you can't exactly strap your phone to the side of the car and drive. So that's where the Gopros came into play. I ended up with a Hero 4 Silver first. I honestly think it's probably one of the best ones they ever made. Between quality, how durable it is, the only downfall that it lacks is it's not waterproof. So you have to get an actual case to be able to do anything with water. Outside of that, it's been fantastic. I ended up buying a second one last year just because I liked them that much. I like the quality I get them, how easy they are to use, all that. If you're out looking and you want a budget one, they're old enough that they're cheaper, but they're not so old, and they really didn't slack when they made those ones. With that, I got various stands, suction cup mounts, and I even played with what some people call gyros or gimbals, and basically it's a handheld thing that kind of floats. So as you move, turn, you can shake it and it'll keep the camera still, and then when you turn, it'll kind of transition slowly. It helps kind of with shakiness and sudden movements. Fast forward about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 now, whenever the 7 series came out, that Black Friday, I ended up going and grabbing a 7 Silver. And while it's been a great camera, very durable, it is waterproof. Shot some footage in pools, in the ocean, fully submersible, it's awesome. But with that, it does lack in audio, but not so bad that it hinders it completely. That year with that series, they did kind of mislead everybody. They advertised all these, specs and everything like that, and it only ended up being the black that got all the features, all the different frame rates, all the bells and whistles. The 7, the middle of the road one, they really cut back compared to previous Silvers. It will shoot up to 4K, but it narrows the view, and it only does it at 25 frames, I believe. So yes, it can do 4K, but it's not the greatest 4K. So typically I keep everything just 1080, that way it's the same across. You'll hardly tell that I jump cameras. There are a couple times that I forgot to change the settings, so some videos were narrow it a little bit. That's the 7. I did use the 7 a lot for time lapse. It did great for that. No complaints there. I did run into is the lens got damaged, and with that being a completely sealed unit, that kind of damage netted me having to get a new one. Now it was covered under warranty, but still kind of a pain. Overall, good camera, did what it was supposed to. Just wasn't what I expected. I wouldn't typically recommend the 7. So the 4 can shoot 4K, but it's only at 25 frames. So I typically don't use that. I actually run the 4 in 2.7K at 60 frames. The 7 is capable of 4K also, but again, that lower 25, 35 frame rate, something like that, so it's not the greatest. That one I typically run in 1080 at the higher frames. Looking at it on the other end of the spectrum, your viewing, even if I shot 4K at the highest frame rate, not everyone's going to even see that. Laptop watching it, on a phone watching it, on a TV watching it, on like an Xbox, those are only capable of viewing and playing back so much. So that's why I don't sweat trying to do the highest quality. I worry more on like the audio side of it. With the 4, I'll show you, I ended up getting a little external mic to kind of help with that, and it's helped big time. With that being said, I wanted to continue, upgrading. So I started looking at actual cameras. The good thing that I like is having a screen you can see, instead of having to guess or constantly adjust until you get it just right. I got an opportunity to buy a camera. That being a Canon T6. So I got it and I played with it a little bit. It's a great picture camera. Those that are like amateurs like I am, it's almost dummy proof. There's a ton of like presettings that you can use for different types of shooting, and it does a lot of stuff already on the camera to where you really don't have to do nothing before posting or sharing, whatever. However, the video part was not what I expected. And it's in 1080 at 30 frames. I do plan on keeping it now that I did find an alternative. I got the setup, I got the bag, and then I even got the longer lens too. Hopefully, if you can get a good deal on one of these, it's a pretty sweet camera. So now that we've gone through everything, the reason I couldn't show you the 7 is because it's already sold, packed up, and basically on its way to its new owner. Because I decided to condense and upgrade. So let's check out what we got. Here, read that. No? Okay. He said no. We got ourselves a Hero 9 Black. Was at the store, did the research. I found, which I'll read some of the specs here in a minute, that the cameras I was looking at don't even shoot as high quality as this does. So it was a no-brainer to get something that I could throw around, dunk in water, and not worry about. From Soundland, plus the crazy good deal on their actual site, I couldn't beat it. And here it is for the first time. Now, wow, this is very stout. There's quite a bit of weight to it. Just as a quick glimpse of what this can do. So of course you have your 1080, 2.7K. It will do 4K at 60 frames, which is awesome. And it'll even do, they're advertising a 5K at 30, which I'm curious about. So I may try shooting in that. I don't know that you guys ever see that end of it. A couple things I do like about this one. The battery is changeable, and so is the lens. Nice seals, that's awesome. Ah, there we go. So the plug is right there next to the battery. Overall, the camera, I'm impressed with it. Feels good. They advertise, so it has a back screen and a front screen that you can see. Back being touchscreen, they advertise 30% more battery life than the last one. They have a new hyper smooth feature. It's like a horizontal leveling thing, so you can be doing this kind of stuff and it'll actually keep the video straight. Tons this thing does, and it's just awesome. Something else too, in the past you had to connect your mounting feet. Now it's actually built in. So let's see what's next here. So in the bundle I got the camera, the card, extra battery, and 1 year subscription to the service, which is like cloud storage, like a no questions asked if something happens to it. If I break it, they'll replace it or fix it for free. worth what I paid for, which is less than a new camera by itself. The next big thing that I liked about this, so this camera that kind of geared toward vloggers, so I felt like this would be completely useful in my case. So I got what they called a media mod, and basically it's a case that allows you to attach other things, and I got 2 attachments to go with it. When it comes to how they gear it towards vloggers, it starts with the case, and it comes with an external mic. So something that's lacked in the past, they've addressed. And it even comes with your filter, for your noise filter for like wind and whatnot. Now you've got this media mod. Took it a couple steps further. First one that you guys will kind of, if you know GoPros, you know they struggle at night. This they call the light mod. And something else to point out is on here, comes with 2 shoehorns. Just like a professional camera would. And boom. That'll help at least a little bit solve the lighting issue that GoPros normally have. And see here it comes with a little filter too. So LED, it does have its own battery, so you charge it separate, slap it on there, and you're good to go. Oh, got different brightnesses apparently. Oh, keep it going. Now we have our light. Here is another thing that they addressed that I mentioned about buying a camera and a feature I looked for. So they call this display mod. A little separate thing here. Comes in a nice case. With this guy, this gives you an external screen, a large external screen that faces you so that you can see what you're shooting. Also has its own battery, so you charge it separate so it won't drain off the battery of the actual GoPro. As you can see, straight up, I mean, they were going right after vloggers. So far, so good. I will update you guys probably in a month or 2. Let's get through winter, get through some of the projects, shooting with some of that. I'll definitely check back in about this. So the last thing I want to touch base on before I wrap this guy up is the software I use to do all this editing. It is a yearly subscription. I believe it's $30 a year. It's really good. It's really user-friendly. It's called Wondershare Filmora. Here's the main, screen. You drag and drop on a timeline. You make your cuts. You can do multiple videos in one. You can add texting. You can add, multiple audio files. You can even add over here different kinds of text. They have preloaded stuff you can use, transitions, different overlays you can use, export. You can run just about any format you can think of. Everything I do is MP4 because it's the easiest to turn around and put on YouTube or watch on the laptop. That's everything I use, but helps someone out there at least to decide on a purchase or to not purchase something. Hero 9, give me some time. I'm gonna play with it, use it. Hopefully the next video or so might be using that. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my voice for this long. Usually try not to do complete vlog like this, but I aim to help people, and this is the way I can help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.